In this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about how I bought a bunch of the top YouTuber courses out there. You've probably heard of them, maybe you haven't, but there's a lot of very successful, famous YouTubers, and I bought most of their courses and I want to give you my review on them. But you may also be able to learn something about whether investing in paid courses in any topic that you want to pursue, whether that is entrepreneurship, getting better grades in school, career communication tips. Are those worth it? Because they are being peddled all the time for various industries. And we're talking, a $2,000 Instagram course. I mean, I saw that recently. A $2,000, $3,000 dating course. Every like online marketing avenue, if you're on the web, you will be sold some type of course. So is it worth it? So let me break down some of the courses I have bought and whether they are worth it. One of them includes Creator Now, which is a big course that has a ton of like some of the top creators on YouTube on it, and that includes like Logan Paul's editor, Eric, Phidias, Kelly Wakasa. A lot of these people with like hundreds of thousands, millions of subscribers who are very well known in the YouTube space. I did Creator Now. Matt Diavella, he has like 2 million plus subscribers. He's like a self-improvement YouTube channel. I got his course. And so over the years, I've gotten a lot of courses. And then that's not it. Phidias, who is like a very big YouTuber, he's kind of like he's very similar to Mr. Beast. And so he has a lot of subscribers, almost 1 million. And so he's very good friends with Mr. Beast, who's like one of the top creators on the whole platform with like 50 million subscribers. So I bought these courses and I wanted to just give you my review of them. And there's a couple others out there that I'm aware of, and I want to give you my opinions on those, even though I haven't bought it. And yeah, it's just a very interesting story. So I want to tell you how I've and why I've bought all these courses over the years. And these are just the recent ones. I think I've been making YouTube videos since like 2006. My first channel was made in 2006. It was a channel based on a video game called Club Penguin, and that one actually did pretty well. I was a top influencer in the Club Penguin universe, and so through that I was introduced to YouTube. That channel still exists. If you go to /orangepeel0, you'll find it on YouTube, and it was one of the first videos I made, and I will say I was kind of early on there. I had 100,000 views on that video when it came out back in 2006. But then I took a big break from YouTube because I really didn't see the potential of YouTube. It was just like fun for me. So I got over that Club Penguin game in a couple years, and then I didn't resume creating content on YouTube until like about 2011, and in that gap, I was mostly just a consumer of content. But in 2011 to about, I think it was 2014, I made a bunch of crappy YouTube videos, and then tried a couple different channels out. And in 2014 to 2015, I invested a good portion of my life savings to fly to Vid Summit, which is a top creator conference hosted by Daryl Eves. And then I also spent a good portion of my life savings, I think it was like $2,000 at the time, to be in a cohort video course with Tim Schmoyer of Video Creators, another big like YouTube advice guy. And so I want to give you my experience there, because it wasn't just oh yeah, everything was great, this was worth it. There were things that I felt like wasn't that like worth it for me. So Vid Summit's changed a lot, first off. And I will say, when I bought it in 2015, it was not worth it. I spent a large chunk of my money to fly to California to attend this course, to find housing there. And it was my first time in LA. And I think, first off, there was an air of like, oh, everyone here is like well off, or like well enough to get a ticket. And there's like a good like a good portion of people where he just like gave tickets away free to because the attendance wasn't high. This was the second ever Vid Summit, so it was a lot different from what it is now. And so I had a bad taste in my mouth because it was like, he was just trying to get the attendance numbers up, and there's an assumption there that wasn't true because I was gutting my savings to go to this thing, and I bought the VIP ticket, which was a dinner with Daryl. Turns out the dinner was like 100, like about like 60 other people attended this dinner, and most of the dinner was them trying to upsell us on a marketing automation uh, software called Infusionsoft, which was way too advanced for where I was. So the whole thing was a mess, and a lot of the other attendees there were like white, older men who were very much into traditional marketing and were like only cared about making money. Like you could tell, like they're just like, how do I make money? How do I make money with YouTube? Now, since then, I'm going to get off my rant about VidSummit because since then it has drastically changed a lot. And if you were to go to VidSummit now, it's many years later, and it's changed a lot. There's a lot of real creators there. There's a lot of real talent, and I think what he envisioned it has become. So nowadays, I think it's worth it. But back then it was such a bad taste in my mouth, and I think it's changed a lot since then. So I mean, now they have Mr. Beast and all these other creators on. I bring that up because that was one of my examples of where it wasn't really worth it. And since then, I will still like I recently bought the VidSummit Replays package. So in a way, I'm still a fan of VidSummit because I think the content there has just gotten a lot better, and it's a lot better speakers and the attendance there. But like when he was still trying to get it off the ground, it was just a lot of like seemed like his old like marketing friends who attended, and it was just kind of a bit of a mess. There were some decent creators that showed up to speak, but yeah, it would be an example of a bad taste. Now, I think since then, there's been so many good courses, and still you have to be cautious, but I think the quality has just upped a lot. Like even the Tim Schmoyer course I took in 2015, it was solid, but I wouldn't say it really revolutionized my channel. I got a lot of good advice, and since it was a cohort of like 15 people, we would meet every week and we would talk. But I think the lesson there was like you got a lot of good tips, some like subjective tips, but still some good tips. And the issue is if you don't take action on them, you're not going to improve. And even when you do take action, it's not a guarantee. So my channel still floundered for many years. I mean, we're talking like 17 views a video for many, many years after I took Tim Schmoyer's course. And I think it wasn't that the course was bad. It had a lot of good tips. It was that nothing is a guarantee. Unfortunately, with courses and stuff like that, it is not like a physical product where there's more of a guarantee you'll get the result you want. If you buy a blender, you know the fruit's going to get blended. But with a course, one of the catch-22s with any one of the various courses out there, whether they're teaching you how to start a drop shipping business or how to get better in dating, a lot of these courses that are constantly being peddled and people are constantly buying that I see, there's a promise of an end life change. And there's no guarantee with that. And that's the unfortunate truth. And I think you have to accept that when you go into a course. And I think some students, some classmates I've encountered, like they understand that. Like even some of the courses I bought recently, like the VidSummit course, the Creator Now course. I've talked to some classmates in the Creator Now course, and some of them understand that. You can tell to a degree, but others don't. And you can get if you have the wrong mindset, expecting a guarantee, you're going to be set up for failure in a way when that doesn't happen. Like no course can guarantee you some drastic change in your dating life after you finish it and complete all the steps. Because there's just so many other factors at play, things out of your control, especially with YouTube creator content, which is just such a level of uh, originality required and creativity. And so, like, with everything, like even business, even even some of those other things. And I have bought business courses too. I bought one from Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income. They can give you a methodology, but there's things just like out of your control. You can follow that methodology to find a business idea. And that's what I did to create my speed learning course, to teach you how to learn anything faster and get better at a skill more effectively and efficiently. But with those courses, like sometimes you go through the validation process, you get a couple customers, and that's what I did. But then it just doesn't like grow or hit as you would expect. And that was the case with my course. I mean, I think it's a solid course. It's very affordable at $49, which you can find on my website, willyoulaugh.com/resources. But it just never got many sales. And like there's that methodology to find stuff, to promote it, to create something to sell. But it doesn't always work out because there's other factors. And so with a good course, they will tell you that, and they will say, hey, that happens, stick to the process. That may mean you go back to the drawing board, you find another market, and you have to assess those things in the market that matter: competition, what other products are out there, what makes yours unique, how are you marketing it. And so with a good course, the methodology will at least keep you in it, so that when it doesn't work out, you can pivot, because there are things out of your control, like a saturated market. And you just keep at it with trying different things until you hit. But I think that's a big thing, because for me, especially when I was younger, when you're more naive, you expect to take this course and it to work out. So moving on from that, Tim Schmoyer's course was pretty solid, but it was expensive. And nowadays, I don't think I would take it, because while it's good, there's just better options for more affordable prices now. Now, I got a whole list of other courses I would potentially buy related to YouTube, and I kind of want to rank them hierarchically. So other than the ones mentioned, there's also Los LeBlanc's like travel YouTuber course. He's another YouTuber with like millions of subscribers. He's more of a travel YouTuber though. And that one's expensive. I think it's like $1,000 or so. Then there's Ali Abdal, who is a kind of student advice, as well as now he's more of like a lifestyle channel, but it's very like self-improvement focused. And he has a course for $2,000 called Part-Time YouTuber Academy. He's been consistently and quickly raising his prices. And he's gone through like 7 or 8 cohorts so far. And likely his course is going to be like $3,000 soon. And then there's also a couple big real estate, like money-making finance YouTubers. There's Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin. They both have courses, but you can tell they didn't put as much effort into them. I mean, it's still really solid, but clearly it's not their main focus. Whereas for those other courses I mentioned, like those are their babies. Like you could tell that's their main product they're selling. They're really making the course better every month. Whereas with the real estate guys I just mentioned, both of which are making monstrous amounts of money off YouTube just because of the industry they're in, they have higher advertisement rates. So they're both making like millions per year off ads and sponsorships on YouTube. But their courses are lacking in the sense that you go to them and they actually show the syllabus. You can tell like they made this like a couple years ago. They just filmed a bunch of videos and then they just let it sit. And then they just link to the video in the description. They don't even promote it. So it's not like their main focus like the others. So in that sense, the quality may not be there, but I'm sure there's still valuable tips in there. And so that's like the general world of YouTube. There's a few others, but the remaining ones are kind of like clearly marketers with YouTube channels designed to teach other people to make YouTube. So those are also very good. It's kind of like Tim Schmoyer or Daryl Eves, but those are just kind of just like, it's a bit more. I'm a bit more skeptical about those because it's just like, I made money teaching you how to make money, and they're good guys. They are really good guys. But one of them is called. Well, they've changed their name a few times, but it's currently called Think Media. So Think Media has a course, and then there's a few other people like Sunny who sells a course. Sunny is like a YouTuber who like basically teaches people how to like grow on Instagram and on YouTube. I think her last name's like Lenzeo or something. Let me see if I can look up her last name real quick. Sunny Linarduzzi. And then there's a few others like her. I think there's this Asian woman young Asian woman who also sells like a YouTuber course. So that's basically the current landscape of YouTuber courses out there. And I gotta say, in terms of the ones that are the best to the worst, for me personally, I'm just gonna say that Creator Now is probably like my favorite by far. First off, the price. I mean, you have Ali Abdal, who continuously raises his prices for his course to the point where it is just a monstrous amount of cash per purchase. And I know why he does that, because from a mathematical business perspective, it's easier for him to sell a really expensive course to a few people and make more money. And while there is some truth to that, it just like the issue with it is kind of like that Vid Summit example. I get a bad taste in my mouth because it becomes more about, is this guy really out there to help as many people and make the world a better place, or are they just trying to make as much money as possible, which often means excluding a large portion of people who have some money but not that much money. And because of that, they're just, catering to the small few rich people who can afford it. Yeah, that'll make you more money too at $3,000 a course, but it doesn't have the right spirit to it. And that's why I feel like something like Creator Now, from not just a price perspective, but the quality, it just wins. So why is Creator Now so much better than everything else I've come across? Well, first off, their cast of not only the price, which I got in at 300, it used to be 200. They'll probably raise it, but at a reasonable rate, then it's not going to jump to $2,000, I hope. The cast of people that they bring in is just incredible. I mean, what you get in there is like a 6-week program with first off, you get like a Discord. It's called Geneva, but it's just like Discord with all the other people, about 300 other classmates. And then you get a Zoom workshop almost every day, like 5 to 6 days a week. You get a Zoom workshop with like some of the top creators you can think of, like Kelly Wakasa's editor, Logan Paul's editor, Iraq's editor, and all these like really top of the line creators. And it's not just like 2 or 3 modules. It's like every day, every week. And you get a library of past recordings, and you get this entire Discord with all these channels to discuss editing, to do all this stuff, to network. And the Zooms are actually interactive, so that you go into breakout rooms. You talk with fellow creators in your class. It's just on another level. They even have like a plan for you, like specific steps for you to take. They sort you into like creator versus editor rooms. It's just on another level from what I've seen, because I think it's just taken it to a different level. The standard before that was just, hey, I'm one creator and I'm just gonna film like 15 videos of myself talking to a camera. Sometimes there'll be some B-roll there. And then for like 3 of those videos, I'll bring on a creator friend that is also really successful, and he'll do a little talking session. Um, and so I hear decent things about Part-Time YouTuber Academy with Ali Abdal's course, but I just get a little bit of a bad taste just based off the price and everything. Like, um, it just doesn't make sense when there's better options out there. Um, and so you just get so much more content in Creator now too. I mean, with their past recording library, you've got access to over 100 videos from all these different people. So that's my top option. I mean, I can harp on why there's such an echelon above for so much longer, but I think the price and the access you get is just un, unparalleled. Um, and I know a lot of classmates will go back for a second or third or fourth cohort after they finish their 6 week boot camp. And so that's where the price may add up. I've considered doing that. I'm just not sure if I will just yet, because I don't have an endless budget, but that's something that you really got to consider. So what's number 2 after Creator now? Well, I would say number 2 is actually not Phidias's course, but it was actually eh, basically Matt D'Avella's course. Now, I really wanted to either purchase Matt D'Avella's course or Los LeBlanc's course, because both of them have just incredible videography skills, and I wanted to get better at videography. And that's one thing that you're going to probably not see as much if you go to other courses, because uh, every creator has different skill sets, and Matt D'Avella is just known for his cinematography, but he also has the structure and talks about all the other things that you would expect to find in a YouTube course, like editing skills, storytelling, um, and so on and so forth. So he did. So I was going through his course, and he had a lot of that, which I really appreciated. And his course was solid. Like, it wasn't like an overwhelm of info. It wasn't like too scarce either. He had like solid like 20 videos. Some of the videos were like 40 minutes long, but he really went into depth. And I really liked the course. And the price was actually very good too. It was about $300. So I don't know about you, but I just really appreciate that type of pricing, because um, this just it's just ridiculous. Like, in the dating market, in the make money online business market, and in the YouTuber market, there's always someone peddling a $2,000 course, and sometimes that's the only option. Like I said, back in 2015, like that was sometimes the only option, and so that really just um, it pays to know that some people actually care. And unfortunately, I think part of the issue is that some of these people are like telling the people selling these courses, like they're all in a group sometimes. You know, Ali is telling Matt D'Avella, or Matt D'Avella is telling someone else, you got to raise your prices. You got to raise your prices. And while they see it from the business perspective, I think they're not seeing the full issue, and they're not seeing the entire user experience. So yeah, on paper, yeah, you're making more money by increasing your courses, and they're saying stuff like, oh, it's your mindset. You gotta ask for what you're worth. You gotta get over that scarcity mindset. You gotta raise your prices. While there is some truth to that, it's definitely not the full picture. So there's so many creators out there, and having the highest pricing is not always the best solution. Um, and so I want to get off harping on that, but it just drives me crazy when like I keep seeing these ridiculous pricing models for these companies, and sometimes certain industries that works for. I've bought courses from Ramit Sethi, and for him, he caters to people who are well established in their career already. And he's been doing selling courses for like 15 years. So he charges like $2,000, $3,000 for a course, but these are for like established career professionals. That's different. Um, yeah, you shouldn't just blindly increase courses. Anyhow, Creator Now was my number one choice. Um, and then Matt Diavella's for the reasons specified, or number two. With the price, the cinematography, all those things, I found that to be pretty effective as well. By the way, I do have a coupon code if you want to try out Creator Now. The website's creatornow.club. Um, but if you use my code, you should be able to get like a little discount. And the code is William Chow 669. I didn't choose that code. It was auto generated, so it wasn't like, oh, I wanted it to be 69. But that is pretty funny that it is 69. Chow spelled CHOU, so it's just William Chow in all caps 669, no spaces. Yeah, that's funny that it's 69. But yeah, that's my code. Check it out. I get a commission if you go through my code. Um, but yeah, I think there's a little bit of a kickback to you as well, if you were to consider. Anyhow, I'm definitely not just saying that because Creator Now it has a referral code. Like, uh, I rarely get any money from affiliates, anyways, and it's really about just promoting something I think is the best. Now, after Matt Diavella and Creator Now, I actually also took. I have there's a Phidias's course. Phidias is his course is probably um, there's that, and then there's also the Vid Summit replays. So between those two, which one is better? And I honestly have to say that I would put the Vid Summit replays above Phidias's courses. Now, why am I doing that? Well, because Phidias, although his YouTube content is exceptional, there was a few kinks uh, that made his course not as good. Um, First off, it was about $300, and I think it was priced even higher until Ethereum dropped. So the first like obstacle was that like he was basically minting an NFT which came with the course, which was very innovative but also a little bit of a hassle to do. So I'd never purchased an NFT before. He did a great video explain how, but you really have to jump through some hoops, and the services that you need to use to transfer USD or your whatever your currency you're using to Ethereum to purchase a course, they were very clunky. They glitched. They wouldn't work, and so I ultimately had to go through that many times before um, I purchased his course. And it wasn't his fault. I think his video explained it well. It was just like all these services that they offer are still very, very clunky. So I found that rather annoying. Um, so there's that. And then there's also his courses himself. The course itself is essentially access to a Discord. And then in one of the Discord channels, um, it's basically like 15 videos with not much B-roll, just him talking straight to a camera about like his tips on YouTube. And I think his tips are valuable, but like you could tell it wasn't very well polished. Now it also comes with like a little Discord, which isn't very populated. Like not a lot of people talk in it, but you get to talk to them, and I still found it valuable. Like I think I asked Phidias a question, and he actually gave an answer. So you could tell he's very busy. So you don't expect Phidias to respond often, but it's like a small community in there, and that's basically it. So I found it to be valuable, but at the price, if I had to choose that versus Creator Now or anything else, I would choose Creator Now. I mean, Creator Now is just on another level. I mean, you just get so many high level creators literally spending an hour to 2 hours a day. It's usually an hour and a half, breaking down a video of theirs or a specific topic and why uh, they're successful on YouTube. It's just like 10 times more content, but 10 times more better content from a variety of creators. And like some of them come very well prepared. Like some of them have a whole like video that they want to break down for you, a whole PowerPoint presentation, like Hayden Hillier Smith, Logan Paul's editor, my favorite editor. Like he really comes prepared with stuff to talk about. And so it's just polished on another level versus something where it's like with Phidias, it's just like 15 to 20 minutes straight to camera, very little B-roll, just giving YouTube advice. I mean, which would you rather pay for? Once again, my referral code, if you do go to creatornow.club, it's William Chow 669, all caps, CHOU. So that's how I'd rank it. Now, why would I put Vid Summit replays at third? Now, first off, I think the Vid Summit replays, for anyone who cannot afford like $2,000 to go to Vid Summit in person, then I think the replays are another great option. Now, is it worth the networking opportunity to pay the $2,000 if you can't afford it? That's up for debate. For some people, especially very successful YouTubers, it probably is. It's a drop in the bucket for you since you're making hundreds of thousands and you probably know how to network without coming off sleazy or value taking. And you can probably meet some people there at your level or greater who would love to help you. And you help them and like both of your channels explode. But for the rest of us, I mean, like I said, that 2015 trip, not really worth it. And yeah, I would recommend don't come in with a value-taking perspective if you were to go to that. I think that was a mistake I saw early on when I did creator networking events. Now, I got the digital summit replays, which means for 300, was it 300? I think it was around $300. I think the last 2 to 3 years of replays. Now, the promotion was marketed as all the replays since the inception of VidSummit. However, I did not see that. I only saw the last 2 to 3 years when I got access. Those may have been just the only years they were able to archive. But for me, I feel like they probably have more that they just didn't unlock or has become outdated in terms of content. Because I know that for sure they saved the 2015 replays that I attended because I got access to those. So what I'm basically saying is you get basically the last 2 to 3 years. And for me, it was actually really useful because they brought on a lot of great speakers. It's a different field though, because rather than the interactivity and community of Creator Now, it's it's previously recorded sessions that you're simply watching. And they're often kind of geared more in a speaker setting versus like an online course setting. And so there may not be any structure between one speaker and the other. But you get a lot of very incredible info. Now, one downside is that Daryl he basically puts like a 10-minute ad in front of each of the replays to tell you to reach out to him for consulting or for one of his like 5 sponsors, which are like a variety of different things. Sometimes it's like a product, sometimes it's some agency. But you can just skip past that. Some people found that annoying. And then when you look at some of the comments, some of them like really complain about the bad audio quality. I guess they had like a different audio for the recording than the one that was used for the microphone. So some of the audio was kind of bad. You would think they'd be technical enough to fix that by now, but I saw a lot of comments like that. For me, I could tell that the audio wasn't great, but it was good enough for me, so I didn't complain. And I think the greatest value I got from that were the just like some of the sessions really talked about how a creator like went from zero to making full-time living, and that's the level I'm at. So I got some value out of those types of video replays. And then there were ones that were like Mr. Beast, just like breaking down. There's this one where for like 3 hours straight, he just literally watched other people's videos and broke it down. And that was during this special 2020 quarantine vid summit uh, year. So that's why they had more time to do that. I think nowadays you wouldn't see that because they're back to live sessions, but that was one of my most valuable sessions because he literally broke down frame by frame, like not frame by frame, but like minute by minute, like this sucks, this was great, this is why you need to cut this, and why this should stay. And so I just got a lot more value out of that than like someone lecturing for an hour on stage. But there was a lot of good like lectures on stage as well. So that's the order, the hierarchy of best to worst courses that I would get, starting with Creator Now, followed shortly by Matt D'Avella's course, then followed by Vid Summit Replays, and then Phidias's course. Now, the thing with Matt D'Avella's course, though, is that it is not any type of live session. They do have a forum you get access to, which I think his brother runs for him. So you're not going to see Matt answer questions on the forum a lot. So I think that's the one thing missing with Matt's course versus the others. There was not as much interactivity or workshops compared to all the others. Now, Part-Time YouTuber Academy I'd put at the bottom of the list just because of the price. But for you, if you can stomach that price, I mean, I would raise it to like maybe third place or second place because I hear it's pretty solid content, but is it as holistic as something as Creator Now, which they have various different industry creators on? No, because Ali Abdaal did it in a very specific way. He succeeded through informational, educational content. You will get a somewhat limited perspective of things compared to something like Creator Now with so many different types of creators from different niches. And different niches have different strategies. Like a makeup niche is different from a travel niche, which is different from an entertainment niche. So that's that. In the future, I am not opposed to buying another course, but at that point, there will come a point where I mean, I'm already kind of at that point where I'm like, I'm done with courses. Like, it's no longer new information that's the issue, and you know, that's something I've always harped on in my own content. Sometimes it's not the lack of information that's the issue anymore, and that's something that you guys have to start to realize, because we're in, you know, I think 200 years ago there was a lack of information, and people, the smart people would move heaven and earth to get a book or a session with someone they admire because there was no internet. And so imagine having no internet. Your access to how-to information would be very limited. But now we're in a different phase where there's just an abundance of information, from free content and paid content, from dating advice to entrepreneurship to making videos on YouTube. And what paid courses do that free content don't is that they give you a structure, a framework, a process, and accountability, and sometimes a community. And so I definitely think moving from free to paid sometimes is so worth it, because in all these areas I've mentioned, I remember trying free courses and trying to piece it together myself and getting nowhere, or not as far as I want. And I think the best example would be in dating. Like, there's all these different like advice and structures, and I tried to like build a Frankenstein model based off all of them and got very little results. And so, you know, I think this year I finally just like saying like, hey, I'm gonna invest in a coach, and I found a coach I could afford, and I actually have like actual structure I can just commit to 100% rather than, you know, piece it together. And it's been noticeably just better since I have a bit more certainty on what to do. And so you know, I definitely think you should invest in a course. You don't need to buy as many as me. And very quickly, probably after your second or third course, you will realize that, hey, it's no longer more information I need. You, if you're like me, you still feel compelled and curious to get new courses. And so you have to resist that sometimes. You have to know when to cut it off. Now, for me, I haven't, I think I probably will buy one more course in the next 5 years or so, or two, but nothing more than that because at this point, it's definitely no longer about uh, information. Like, you get to a point fairly quickly where it's like, okay, I get the gist. I understand what you need to do to succeed. Let's just do it. But I think a lot of people fall for just getting more and more courses, and that's where I just want to caution you against. Now, in terms of what future courses I would get, Ali Abdal's personally is on the bottom just because of the price. Um, and then I think Lost LeBlanc's course or another season of Creator Now is probably what's on my mind. Why? Because Creator Now has just generated so much value. The caliber of creators, the caliber of accountability and community, and then the price is just great. I'm sure they're gonna raise their prices soon, so I might join another season like a lot of the other classmates do, before it starts to tap out. And then I think what's on my mind is Lost LeBlanc's course. It is kind of pricey, but it's not nearly at Ali Abdal's level. It's like 700, 800. And then if you get it at Black Friday, there's a decent discount, like 30% or 20% off. Um, he's just a great filmographer of travel content, and he also knows how to make Instagram photos, which I want to get more into really well. And you could tell he put a lot of time and effort into his course. So it'll be likely be very similar to Matt Diavella's, just um, in his own flavor. So that's something I'm curious about. I don't know if I will pull the trigger yet, but maybe in Black Friday. And I think on the horizon, I think there's another huge YouTuber in kind of like the self-development travel filmography space called Nicholas Crystal, who's been growing very rapidly this last year. He has a course that may be coming out soon. So depending on the pricing, that would be something on my mind. He's more of like a self-improvement filmographer, editor. He does it all, and he's really good at making engaging content. And then, on a rainy day, like if I have the money and I still need some help, I may check out one of those two real estate finance courses by Graham Stephan or Meet Kevin. But they're kind of on the bottom of my list just because of clearly how they've kind of just let them sit there for a couple years and they haven't really touched them. They just film the course and then just link to it in the description. But there's probably still some good content in there. So that's it for me. I really do think that Creator Now blows them all out of the water. Like I said, my code is William Chow 669. Check out creatornow.club. The spaces are limited, guys. They usually sell out when a new season opens up within like 3 days. There's about 300 spots, and I mean the price is just great. I personally, and out of all the courses, I think Creator Now wins it, and I'm probably at some point I'll probably go back for a second cohort. Um, it's not just the structure, the process, the things they walk you through during those 6 weeks, but the community, and most importantly, it's the fact that you literally get access to about like 30 different creators that are at the top of their game doing workshops. I mean, you got top vloggers in there, you got top editors in there, you get all these different people. So it's just a completely different thing from your standard, hey, I'm an influencer, this is just my course on doing well on YouTube. It's literally like 30 different people's courses. And you can tell it's different because I think they're paying each of these influencers, but they're coming in week after week. Some of them don't just show up once. And so, I mean, it's just like an echelon above, and I think it's YouTube's best kept secret, or YouTuber's best kept secret. Google and YouTube don't own Creator now, but um, honestly, like I was blown away by the level of quality. I mean, uh, Mac Hopkins, Premier Gal, um, just a lot of people in Creator now that just makes it great. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you got some value out of it, and hopefully you learned something. Thanks, and I'll see you later on my blog, on my YouTube channel, uh, willyoulaugh.com. But guys, I mean, if you like Casey Neistat, if you like Colin and Samir, if you like Sorel Amor, Creator Now is a place, man. Like it's not a one-stop shop. It's just like on another level. Check it out. Use my code William Chow 669 for promotion if you do sign up in the next cohort. But I am having a great time. See you guys later.